And you played
Hot Frosty.
a snowman, right?
Yeah. The big goal on this for me.
You had your shirt off.
A lot.
Okay,
You look
that
great.
was not
You
the
were
goal.
ripped.
No.
You're ripped up.
That's not the goal.
Ripped up.
The goal for me was like, reading this script, it was, very light and silly and fun, but there was some nice heartfelt stuff. But this was something where like every day, literally, it's not hyperbole. Every day there was like an opportunity for great joy.
Everybody, welcome to the Brotherly Love Pod.
Friday,
Happy
everybody.
Friday.
I'm excited about
We
this
got an in-studio guest.
little
It's not just the three
episode.
of us idiots.
No, it's
There's somebody
not.
else here with us to join in
A
this.
fourth idiot.
Oh, we have a fourth idiot.
Just when you thought- Just when you thought you were all stocked up on idiots, we added
Anymore.
one more.
Yeah.
No, anyway, Andy, take it away.
Well, I have one of my very good buddies, best buddy. We refer to him known as Milagoo Milaga.
Yeah.
Dustin
Milligan.
Welcome to the Brotherly Love Pod, my best buddy Dustin Milligan.
Hey.
Everyone.
Thank you so much,
Dusty.
guys. So much excitement and joy, just like bursting out of me to be here right now.
Thanks,
Really?
man.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm
let
not
me
feeling it, though.
yeah.
Not really feeling it.
Oh,
I know. I was about to say,
yeah.
was there a thread of
I
like
know.
just sarcasm?
Hey, you know what? No, seriously, there's so much joy bursting out of me right now.
Yeah. I'm not a very good actor, so that's what you're picking up on there.
It's good. It's
Bad
good.
at performing.
No way.
How
No
long have you guys known
nonsense.
each other?
Oh
You've known
my
each other a long
gosh.
time, right? I mean,
Uh,
I remember, dude. I've been seeing you for decades, so I know it's been a while. Right?
yeah. No, it's
20
you were 17.
Yeah.
I
So 20
was.
years.
Yeah.
20 years.
20 actual
What?
years.
Holy sh-
Yeah,
It's been that long?
I know.
No, it has for sure.
Yeah.
No, you guys.
No, you guys were like the young dudes when I remember.
I got like 9
Oh,
years
yeah,
on
yeah,
you.
yeah.
I got 11 on Andy, so that would make
Yeah,
more sense.
yeah. It would have been
Oh, no.
2000 because it was on Runaway. That's where we met for the first time. Program on what was then the CW, the brand new CW. It was one of like the first shows at the CW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
That's
were on
when-
we were on the WB.
Yeah, but when the
Which was
WB
the WB was newer.
They
and
rebranded.
They rebranded
Yeah.
the CW.
to CW, and they couldn't figure out if they wanted to
Well,
be.
because what was it? It was WB and what was it?
UPN.
UPN. Yeah. Because it was like
UPN.
because I remember there was a bunch of press that we were doing, and
Yeah.
it was like leftovers
Yes.
from
Yeah.
the WB,
Yes.
me, and then a bunch of wrestlers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we were all
Yeah,
like,
I love it. Yeah.
Like I remember once we did like a
What an
tour
upfronts.
at the Mall of America.
Oh God.
and
in
yeah,
Minneapolis.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it was like me, and then like two of the guys from One Tree Hill, and then
Yep.
like like a wrestler, like Ken Kennedy, I think was his name or something, and we were all just sitting there.
Kennedy.
All these people were lined up to see them, not me.
Wow.
It was weird. That was a weird one.
Wow.
That whole show
Yeah.
was quite the experience.
It was wild.
You guys
yeah.
were in Toronto on that, right?
We
Toronto.
moved.
Yeah.
Moved
Remember you guys
us-
went up. Donnie Wahlberg was in that.
Donnie
right?
was there. Yeah.
Donnie!
We've had Donnie
Shout
on the
out to
show.
Donnie.
I've seen that episode.
That's the only episode.
Oh.
That was the only
Yeah,
one I
we
watched.
watched
That was
That
a little
you'll have-
research you did.
Yeah, no, because I was just like,
You'll have
are they
to.
going to mention me? Are they going to
Did we,
mention me?
I think we mentioned you.
Did not mention me.
Really? Dustin's. I was telling Sam earlier. Dustin's been one of my close friends for 20 years, apparently, which is too long. Makes me feel weird. We were hanging out in Toronto and got into a lot of mischief there. Remember, we took the train to Montreal and one weekend and listened to Paris Hilton or some banger that was out, some single.
What, Stars Are Blind?
Maybe it was that.
It
Yeah.
had to be. That's
Yeah.
the only banger that she has. It's incredible. It's a
Yeah.
good song.
I think you introduced me to that
It's a good
song
song.
on that trip.
You guys like music?
I
you guys
remember
like
this.
really good music?
Yeah.
Check out
Yes.
Stars Are Blind by Paris Hilton.
Stars Are Blind.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever heard that one.
It's a banger, man.
It's her
It's-
one
we were
banger,
listening
and it's
to
a
it.
damn good
We-
one.
one
I'll tell you
weekend-
something, you're gonna have one banger. Make sure it's a good one.
They were.
And that's what Paris did.
Yeah.
She made sure it was a good one.
It was
What
actually-
is the point of that? Stars are blind. What
I
does
don't
that mean?
know.
Like stars don't see what? Colors or what? What do
You
they-
know
what
what?
do
You're
they mean?
questioning something that you know nothing
Colorblind,
about.
Joe,
You
or
haven't
blind
heard the
blind?
song.
Is it like a color blindness or is it like a total blindness?
That's he's trying to
Stars
figure out
don't
to
have
what
eyes.
degree.
Stars. Well,
Like hills don't have eyes, but do the stars have eyes? And that would really be the question to ask, I think. Really
That's
dive into that.
do
one.
the stars have eyes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she of all people to be asking that question, I think,
Yeah.
is
Is
wow. This is you guys go deep on
apropos.
this
We
podcast.
do.
This
we
is
go,
like
we go to that underbelly layer. Just
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
think it's like we peel back and we're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotta
It's
be
like an
honest.
onion, Dustin.
Yeah,
Gotta be
yeah.
honest.
My eyes are watering.
You
Speaking of
lost
eyes,
me.
I know.
So we were on the train to Montreal.
Yeah.
And we had a weekend off or something. This was like a highlight because it was the first time I had ever like moved away from home.
How long were you guys up there?
We were
Weeks, right? 'Cause you did,
weeks,
like, how many
months. It was like 6 months, dude.
Oh.
We shot a whole season.
We only did 8 episodes. I
Yeah.
think by the time the second episode aired, we had been canceled. I think they like it was
They
a
had to
thing where, like,
finish it 'cause
They
it
aired the
was-
first
yeah,
episode and then they like re-aired the first episode and we're like, here comes the cancellation.
Everybody, wait, did you see it?
Yeah, they aired the
Are you
second
sure?
one.
It's like
Wow.
And then it like ended up. I remember because then like the 8th episode they like crammed in like a tornado.
Yeah, that was the way they out of nowhere. Out of nowhere,
Wait,
that's like
for real?
yeah, and it was Darren
Starr, yeah.
who did Sex
Chad
and the City.
Hodge, he's a very good writer.
prominent,
Oh,
very
yeah.
good writer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really,
very
really good
talented
writer.
people.
No, that's
Yeah.
a great team right there.
And but yeah, they were like, well, we need to end the show. A
What was-
tornado
what
comes
was
and
the show's
destroys
about?
the town.
What was the show about?
So it was actually a good idea.
Yeah, it was like this family, a very like prominent, wealthy family. Donnie gets the dad in the family. He gets
Works-
like,
witnesses a
framed
mob
for
thing or
something
something?
witnesses
I don't know.
something.
Okay.
And then has to take the whole family on the run.
yeah.
And you guys played what?
Mortal enemies.
Mortal enemies. No, I was
I never
his
saw it. It was only on.
sister's.
If it had lasted that
more
third
than
week, I
yeah, it
probably
only
would've tuned
if
in,
you.
but
I think it ended up running on like BBC for a little while or
BBC
something.
America or
I
the
don't
real
know.
BBC?
I don't
Oh
probably
my
don't know.
God.
But I was the character was your sister's boyfriend.
Yeah. Played by Sarah Ramos.
Sarah, who's awesome.
Also
Oh, wow.
amazing.
Good cast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great
yeah,
cast.
yeah.
Yeah, great cast.
Who played your mom?
Leslie Hope.
Leslie Hope.
Yeah, Canadian icon.
now, I remember I went up and visited him.
Says that on
And
IMDb.
I
Do
met
see his
him.
Canadian.
Icon.
Do see his
For like a
Canadian.
week.
by the way,
Gotta,
yeah.
what?
I went up to visit Andy in Toronto.
Oh, did you?
For like a week, and I stayed at his place. I remember it was very it was like Gotham City up there.
Yeah.
And Andy was very nocturnal at that point.
Yeah.
And
That
he
was
was
pretty
just, I remember these like big curtains over these big windows, and I remember like finally by 2 p.m. I was like, I gotta have some light in this place.
Really?
And Andy was like Batman coming out of
Were
the
you
darkness.
at a hotel or was it like a?
It was like
a
this
apartment
thing.
situation?
And then the only time I pointed at the stories, the only time I met any of the castmates were late night in like dark alleys or clubs. Or something. I swear, I only met him at like literally like a dark alley at like 3 a.m. And I was like, "Hey, how are you?" I can barely see him. He's
Dustin and
shrouded in overexposed like
Dustin
light. I'm
and I
like,
spent a lot of time in the shadows.
and
those
then
days.
and then
in those days,
and he goes, "Come on, I'm gonna take you to meet Donnie." And sure enough, we go to this bar where we get through the line. We walk into the back of the club, and then in this booth, Donnie looks up, and Andy goes, and then he takes me, and I meet him, and that's it. And then I'm ushered away. And
Was
then,
it that bar where you like go down the stairs?
Yes!
Yeah.
Oh,
We went there a
yeah.
bunch
Yes!
of times.
that guy.
Yeah,
Remember
that
that guy was the
yeah,
owner?
yeah.
He was a nice guy.
Yeah.
He had a cartoon that he
had
was
a
trying to.
what?
He had a
Oh,
cartoon
that's
he was trying to- And wait,
The bar-
in Gives. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
20 years ago. This is a memory from 20 years ago. Him
crazy.
pitching it, going, it Gives.
Yeah.
The Givers or something.
Yeah, it was. He was really
The
pushing
family.
that. He was like really
Yeah.
trying to make that happen.
not a bad
Every time
idea.
you would hang out, he's like, "Hey, I got
Yeah.
this." Yeah.
He'd wear T-shirts that say it and stuff. He was. I mean, I
Yeah.
get it. You know.
But yeah, that was an interesting thing because it was exactly that. Like I had just turned 21, maybe. Oh wait, you were 17. How much older?
You're 2 years.
2 years. Okay, so maybe I just turned 19.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And yeah, it was also like my first time kind of like, I mean,
Yeah.
I had already moved to Vancouver, but this was my first time like away from that and
Yeah.
like I had this really cool
Apartment.
like 3
Remember that?
level
So cool.
like
Ooh.
loft apartment.
Dude.
It was nuts.
That's
It was
so much
crazy.
fun.
They
yeah.
really treated us well. 'Cause
Yeah.
It was back. It was
Well,
like,
that was back
yeah.
in the television glory days.
Yeah.
Well,
you
at that
know?
time, like that was still like a relocation fee, and then you have to like pick
Yeah.
it. But they had someone who was like helping people find stuff,
Yeah.
and I was just like, oh
Right.
my God, I get
They-
this. And it was on King Street West. With anybody who knows that, that's
Yeah.
a great location.
They originally had me in a hotel really far away from him,
Mm.
alone in this terrible room. I complained, and so then, they were like, "We'll get you a suite at the hotel," and the suite was a handicapped room that was gigantic.
That's
but
that's the one I know.
but it was like underground,
yeah, it was like dark
and
to be in there.
there were barely any windows. It was horrible.
What?
So I complained again, and then they moved me to a really sweet spot,
Oh, I didn't
which
see
was
that
my
sweet
apartment at the Soho Metropolitan, which had that 5-star restaurant
Oh
underneath.
yeah,
So
the Soho Met. The
Ah,
5-star
nice.
restaurant. You mean Wahlburgers?
no,
Because that's what's there now.
Shut
What?
the-
No way.
Yeah, there's
Shut
a Wahlburgers there.
the
Oh, how wild! How
Yeah.
weird is that?
Yeah.
no. This was like a really nice dining restaurant.
Yeah, I just said that. Wahlburgers.
Yeah. Yes, of course. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you
Only,
not tried
only
the gourmet
the
French
most
fries?
quality of cuts. They do actually use pretty
Quality
quality,
meats.
meat. They do. They
Quality
really, yeah.
meats.
They are all. Yes.
But no,
Anyway.
yeah. But Soho Met. That's a great place to say. A lot of people.
There's
are
a
saying that.
Wahlburgers there.
Yeah. You can order room service like from Wahlburgers.
Wow. What do they have?
You
What-
can. I mean,
Is it just like hamburgers? It's a hamburger joint, right?
yeah, it's
so
just a bunch of
confused.
hamburgers and that kind of like tater tots and stuff like that. It's
Ah,
pretty
I can't
standard
believe
fare.
that.
It's good.
Wow.
you
Is
know,
Gretzky still there on
across
on
the
Blue
street?
Jay?
Yeah. I mean, it might have switched now. That a
And that
lot
park.
of that stuff.
Remember
Like,
that park?
yep.
We
big
got in a
time.
lot of
Yeah,
trouble.
I
in
do.
that park.
I stayed there like a lot of jobs in the past. I've stayed there.
At Soho?
Schitt's Creek, I was staying there a bunch. Yeah,
Oh,
that was where I would
right.
go a bunch. Yeah,
Makes sense.
Oh yeah,
Because they have
did that up
they have
there,
like the
too.
little suites where you could cook. That's a big thing for me is being able to cook.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
So for
Exactly.
a while I was
They had a
staying
little
there,
kitchen,
yeah. I
So
love
you food prep?
I didn't know we were gonna get into like hardcore loser shit right away. Excuse my language, but yeah.
Oh my God.
You know what it is? I'll say this. It's something that people, when you first get into this industry and like there's all the free food and there's all these like amenities and these things that they like provide for you, and you're like, oh my God, like they give you lunch every day, they give you dinner, there's all these snacks,
smoothies and snacks,
but
and coffees
what you
and
start
teas.
to
and,
learn, at least for me, is like
gluttony is a sin.
No,
But
like
sin.
it's this thing where like depending on when the crew call is,
Yeah.
lunch is always 6 hours after that.
Yeah.
Dinner is like a certain period of time after that, and then you start to realize like, oh, so I have to eat just based on when they want to bring the crew in, and then you start to like really, it's like, wait, but it's 4:30.
You've always been a rebel.
Lunch,
You've always challenged the system.
but I started to just be like, I want to have lunch at a normal time, and like dinner at a normal time, which for me is like 4:48 p.m.
Me too, because I like to go to bed early.
I go to bed at
I
like
need,
7:50.
I do that. And I need like 4 hours to digest before I lay down.
Yeah,
or else I get
It's
heartburn.
so much better when I eat an early dinner.
Yeah.
4:35
and you have time to
o'clock.
digest.
And
Yeah,
then
it's
but
true.
also because I like to wake up at like, a lot of times for me, it's like I like to wake up and go to the gym and, not to pull another Wahlberg move. But I work up at like 3, 4 a.m. sometimes, depending on what my call time is. I just, because it's like this thing where, there is a sense of, this is actually my time. I'm going to be,
Dude, I'm so
you know
with
what
you
I
on
mean?
that.
They're asking a lot of you, and you have to give up so much of your entire schedule.
Your entire schedule gets blown up for a certain period of time.
For a certain period of time, and it's fine. It's like there's that little bubble that you exist in when that's happening, and that's nice to a certain degree. But there is also this thing of like, but I'd like to eat when I want to eat things.
Yes.
So
I did that this morning. I got up at 5:30 and I had my breakfast and got a workout in before.
Me too.
Me too. Did the same thing.
350, but no big deal. We're not competing.
350. You know what's here's something funny? So I was on Instagram because Mark Wahlberg does always like the 2 a.m. club. Oh my God, he's just come join me. It's amazing. So just for the hell of it, I was just messing around. I was like, he had the 4 a.m. club. Okay. And I was like, hey, guess what? I know you heard about this 4 a.m. club. I'm doing the 3 a.m. club. Okay. I said, because the workout at 4 a.m. is crap. 3 a.m. is where it at. And do you know that he never responded, but then he did it 2 a.m.
And
we went back and forth.
Response.
He actually started working out the day before. We got all the way into like the 11:50.
He's in Australia working out already.
Yeah,
I fly back, and I get another workout in, so it's impossible because I get a 2-for-1.
But then he did that video. Remember when he was like
on the
3 a.m.
plane
club? Remember when he was doing his squats in the neighborhood?
Yeah.
But the sun.
Yeah, something was off with that.
3
It was 3 p.m.
I think he forgot.
It was
unless it was like Anchorage, Alaska, in the middle of the
No,
summer.
dude, it was
Could be.
It was his neighborhood, bro. It was his house.
It was
He
Bel
like,
Air.
I'm outside the house doing some lunges. 3 a.m. club, everybody. And several comments were like, that sun is unusually high for 3 a.m. It was like high noon. Anyway, it was great.
That's a privilege of living in Bel Air. You get the sun whenever you want.
That's
it's
the whole
on-call
point.
sun.
I
Might
mean,
as well.
Time is does time really exist? You set
What
the
is
clocks,
time?
and you can pretty much,
Yeah.
Do whatever
They,
you want.
Who's to
we're
say?
hearing that daylight
to say?
savings time may finally be done away with this year. They're seriously considering.
yeah.
I keep hearing that though.
It's been threatened for years.
Yeah,
but
and every year I'm always just like, okay, no one's stopping you.
I know.
Everyone's good for this.
I
no
know.
roadblocks
Let's go.
here.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
It's
funny.
I know.
Like let's see it. Anyway, all that's to say is like an amazing time. I hadn't yet picked up on that thing when we were shooting Runaway. The idea of like, I
Eat when
actually
you
can
want.
have my own life.
Carved out in the middle of the
Yeah,
of the
you can
craziness.
actually sort of still do
you
your
can.
own thing. But that was an amazing time, and like not only did I make some lifelong friends, and Andy and Sarah Ramos as well, but also just exploring Toronto, which is a beautiful
So
city.
you're skating around, I would run behind him.
Yeah, or on my BMX bike. I think I had a
Yeah.
BMX for a while
Yeah,
too.
I
But
know.
my big thing was like I would get lost. I would just walk around and get lost, and that's how I learned the city.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I was there by myself. I didn't have an opportunity to meet a good person like you. I was there alone. And I did a movie called Urban Legends, and it was
Oh
with-
yeah,
it was
of
with
course.
it was I was up there for 12 weeks in Toronto. Talk about your own schedule. I used to set my own schedule. I would set my weekends and I'd go to the Cineplex Odeon and see all the movies.
Yeah.
And I'd have it mapped out. I'd do my workout and then I'd go see a movie and have a little food. And then I'd do another workout and go see another movie. And I had my weekends all done. I swear to God. Yeah. Yeah. I did that movie up there in 2000. So,
Yeah. No, honestly, I do think there was something like that era too. Like it was when Toronto was really starting to come into this like new kind of chapter in terms of like the food was getting better.
Yeah,
it
was really modernizing.
It was
It became a really
well, because where we were on King West,
city.
it was like still developing.
Yeah.
In a way where it's like there's a mix of kind of the old neighborhood and then the new.
Yeah, they still
three-level
need the
lofts
Sutton Place.
that-
That's right. You know, they still need the chicken fingers in Sutton Place.
Sutton's in Vancouver.
In Vancouver.
In Vancouver. No, but this was. Wait a minute. No, but there's not a Sutton in Toronto.
No, sir.
Are you thinking of the Royal York? That's like
Maybe it's the Royal York.
Yeah,
Does it
yeah.
look very similar?
yeah, kind of. I don't know.
not really.
Sutton, yeah.
It was definitely Toronto.
The Sutton's
It was definitely Toronto.
Sutton's its own thing.
the thing. And I mean,
It was
that
definitely
was,
Toronto.
man, I've had some experiences there. Let me tell you.
Maybe
Yeah.
it was the Intercontinental. Is there an Intercontinental in
Yes,
Toronto?
there is. Yeah.
So
and
that's
probably
where I
what
stayed.
it was. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
where I
yeah.
stayed.
I love
Yeah.
the Intercontinental.
Yeah.
That's very
As a matter of fact, that's where I stayed because I think my family came up for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
We
that
did, and we
year.
had it
That
there, and
year.
they made a traditional
Oh,
Thanksgiving
cool.
dinner.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
And they made a traditional
They
Thanksgiving
did
dinner.
because obviously Canadian Thanksgiving is at a different time than American Thanksgiving.
Dustin is Canadian, by the way.
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah.
time.
Sorry for
Canadian
sorry
royalty.
for that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry.
For
Yeah.
that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's great.
He's basically
so many-
and
so
he's
many
basically
talented
like
people.
he's like
He
Ryan
is.
Reynolds' cousin.
He is. He's had. Yeah.
They're all related. Michael J.
Yeah.
Fox, Ryan Reynolds,
Yeah.
Dustin Milligan. We lump them all together.
Yeah.
They're all funny, talented Canadians.
Exactly. They're all 1 degree separated.
Actually, Dustin's is a combo of Michael J. Fox and Ryan Reynolds. If you put
Yeah.
both those guys together,
kinda true.
you get
I
this
gotta
guy.
say,
I
I gotta.
wish. High praise.
Yes,
High
yes,
praise. I'll take
that's
that.
true.
It's
kinda
good
what
shit.
So
it
many
is,
funny
yeah.
people though come out of Canada. It's wild because there aren't a lot of people
You're
up there.
amongst
Like
good-
Mike
a good
Myers.
crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim
Oh,
Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
I mean, come
The
on.
top
Huge.
guys.
William Shatner.
William
Very
Shatner.
good. Not on
Shatner.
purpose, but very
Get
funny.
the money.
Yeah.
Damn it.
We gotta.
We were at a Comic-Con with William Shatner
God.
once, and he was unbelievable. We laughed.
He was
about
on a
this-
tear.
He was on a tear. He
Like
wanted
what?
his
In
mon-
what context? Like,
Well, he wanted his money, and he had this handler, and he was going around on his little motor scooter, you know, because he looks incredible, but he's like 100 or 90 something,
Yeah, he's
right?
an old
He
guy.
just got
Yeah.
back from space too,
He
which
just
is
got back
pretty.
from
Yeah, he did do that. Yeah, I remember because he tried
Spectacular.
to give that speech and then Bezos like cut him off.
Yeah.
And, like,
Yeah.
with the
I know the space. So, and they were letting the line form. You know, you've done one of these cons, right? You ever done a
I
con?
did one time
Okay.
and there were no lines forming.
Okay,
Oh, well, there will be now.
it will be now.
Yeah.
I gotta say, Dustin has
Christmas
a
Con.
Christmas
2025.
movie out.
Sure, I get-
It was
yeah.
one
Your
of the.
line's gonna be around.
It was like the top.
block.
It was the top movie on Netflix in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was for
Yeah,
like
dude.
whatever the
for a
first
good amount of
hot
time,
dog
bro,
was 10 days, yeah.
Called
yeah.
Hot Frosty.
Hot
And you
Frosty.
did the Lacey Chabert, right?
Lacey
We all know
Chabert, yeah.
Lacey.
Lacey,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
years,
Yeah.
she's
Difficult to work
wonderful.
with.
Oh, yeah, right.
To not be the nicest,
No.
literally the nicest.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
It's
Very
one of those things
nice.
where it's
Yeah.
like she was so nice, and then to the point where you're kind of like, okay, but like when are we gonna sort of
Where's the real?
when's it
Where's
gonna
the
drop?
real
Because
person?
that happens a lot, and
Yeah.
you know there's sort of
That's what happened with you and
the
me.
public persona, yeah. And then there's also like the on-set persona, and then there's
Right.
kind of the other one behind. But no, she just genuinely is like so nice. And,
That's great.
And like, yeah, generous and
And,
thoughtful.
and you played a
Hot Frosty.
a snowman, right?
Yeah.
But you melted.
A snow
Did you not
guy.
watch the movies yet, Joe?
I didn't watch the movie.
I can
Dude,
tell.
I mean, dude,
kids,
listen, the
man.
cast was pretty good.
Do you have
I mean,
kids?
Craig.
He's so.
no, just
They were
he's
funny.
so
dude.
great,
They were
dude.
really funny.
Greg Robinson,
Yeah,
yeah,
they were really
Jolo
funny.
Trulio, Katie Mixon,
Yeah, everyone was wonderful.
And Lacey, yeah, there's a ton
And
of-
Lauren Holly?
Yeah.
Wait,
She was
Lauren
great.
Holly's
We have
in
a
it?
great scene together.
What,
Actually,
dude?
In the
one of
car?
I
One
know,
of the car?
yeah.
Yeah, this
Great
scene in the
scene.
car where
Yeah.
like I'm like trying to help her get out of a
And you
snowbank.
push it, and she's.
Yeah, and it's
It's
obviously
very,
like,
there's a lot of sexual tension.
yeah,
in this.
and we did like the big goal on this for me.
You had your shirt off.
A lot.
Okay,
You look
that
great.
was not
You
the
were
goal.
ripped.
No.
You're ripped up.
That was not the goal.
ripped up.
The goal for me was like, reading this script, it was, very light and silly and fun, but there was some nice heartfelt stuff. And it was just like, okay, how can I like actually experience joy shooting this movie, which is, as you guys know, very rare to feel actual genuine joy when you're doing something.
It is.
Like this. It's
Absolutely.
hard, right?
Totally.
It's like, and it's so like few and far between. But this was something where like every day, literally, it's not hyperbole. Every day there was like an opportunity for great joy, and that scene in
awesome.
particular,
Yeah.
was one where we didn't really talk about it. Like as scripted, it was just a couple back and forths of again, sort of alluding to this sexual innuendo that was going on with me thrusting the bumper of her car out of a snowbank.
So so funny.
And it was one of these things where we didn't talk about it or anything. We're just like, yeah, we'll just go for a little bit. And her and I just kept on going back and forth with stuff for like 5-6 minute long takes.
Yeah.
God, that's great.
Just trying to crack up everybody in Video Village and like doing that.
great.
And it was so funny. And like we would always finish and everyone was laughing and we just like, none of that's gonna make it in the movie.
See, I wanted more.
Yeah, I know.
I wanted you just back there.
I know.
No, trust me, we just kept going. There was so many different. Every time I got back there, I was like, oh, I can. Again, I'll spare your audience here, but yeah, it was.
We spare them nothing.
We spare them nothing.
It was just obviously it was.
Don't hold
there
back.
was a lot of opportunity there. But it was just so funny, and she was so game and throwing it back to me. And the whole movie, though, there was so much that, as you guys know, like gets left on the cutting room floor. But I just had so much fun getting to run around and act like an absolute idiot, kind of discovering the world for the first time.
It was great.
Discovering how his arms and legs work for the first time. It was truly like a joyful experience. One of the best I've had on set.
Smart
great.
concept. You know, like just it was smart in terms of
Joe, you haven't
smart.
seen it. You can't.
No, the concept.
You just
alone.
said you haven't seen it, and he's like,
The
"Wow, what a
concept-
movie!" You know.
I didn't say.
As you're
Concept.
explaining it, he's singing in his
Did I
head.
say, "Wow, what a movie," or did I say smart concept? Because
No, you said this is a really
the
smart
idea
con-
of a hot snowman is funny. You haven't seen that, so like I think the
It's
hook
true.
of that is interesting.
It was, and like our
It's true.
writer.
It leads
You're right.
itself
That's
into
all right. Good point.
funny comedic situation.
Yeah,
Good
and it's
point.
like an inverse, I think, of a lot of the sort of Born Yesterday trope, which is usually gender reverse in terms of it's
It is.
usually a woman, like
It is.
in
Being
Splash
yeah,
or
yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
You're
or
right.
like Mannequin, you know, what I mean, there's all these things. Or
You're
even like
right.
Weird Science, like that kind
You're
of
right.
Weird
thing.
science.
Yeah.
Look,
It is in
in
that
a
genre
Mannequin,
for sure.
way they did it
Mannequin,
in Elf too, because
yeah.
Mannequin.
I just said Mannequin. Are you?
Did you? I'm not
Yeah, you
listening.
did.
Oh, Mannequin. That was.
I
that was-
can't, just for those of you guys listening right now, you're the only ones listening
Yeah,
to this.
I'm not,
'cause these three
obviously.
guys are not.
Joe hasn't
at
seen the
all.
movie. I'm not listening to anything you're saying.
No.
I haven't listened to Dustin for
They did that in
years.
Elf too, a little bit. Like
That was
innocent-
Elf was a big thing for me, and like Encino Man.
Yes,
And, there's this movie
yes.
Clifford with.
Oh yeah,
remember
I know
that
Clifford.
movie?
Absolutely.
So funny, and like
It is funny.
I'm big and 13 going on 30. All
Mannequin.
those movies I was Mannequin. Yeah, that's a good point actually, Andy. Yeah,
Come on. It's a good one.
Man.
but yeah, just like all those wish fulfillment kind of things and the Born Yesterday trope, all of that. It was so much fun to play, and again, like it's rare that you're right. It is kind of an interesting flip on it, and it's
It
rare
is.
to get that opportunity. So
Well, that's what I like. I like a hook that's like that you can sink your teeth into that people get, because then if it's executed well, it'll work because people get the idea instantly, and that's what I liked about it. Look, I got in a weird way playing that innocence. You can get away with murder. When you're innocent, you can get away with so much because there's not an intention behind it. So there's an innocence about it. So when you're commenting about things that could be sexually,
yeah.
That's what. So
right.
if you'd
Yeah.
seen it, Joe, that's the car.
right,
is.
The car sequence we were
that's
talking
kind of
about with
Yeah, you
Lauren
don't have to be a
Hollywood.
rocket scientist to figure that
Yeah.
out when you were talking
I
about
really-
busting bumpers and things. I figured that it was interesting. You know, even as a kid, Joey Russo on Blossom, I got away with murder because he was an idiot.
Yeah, exactly,
And he didn't know his innocence allowed him to be able to comment on things that if he had an intellectual, level, he would have never gotten away with it because then it would have been intentional. And then it would have
And there's
come off
that whole
sleazy or
thing of
weird.
like malice and sleaze.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that
Exactly.
and that's a good point because I think that's I've had the opportunity to play
A real sleaze bag.
no, but I like dumbasses, dorks,
Right,
Yeah,
right.
you know,
yeah,
dweebs, like and I love getting to do that. I love getting to just play like someone
course.
who's just so stupid.
Mhm.
Because
Huge
there is a
nerd.
liberation there where you can kind of
is.
just like and also too you just get to listen to what other people are saying and just be confused.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And it's
great.
just like you
Yeah,
get
it's nice.
it's one of the few times where you get to be truly present in a scene because you're just like
Yeah.
that's a lot of fun to play. And this kind of role, it's like you said, it's easy for people to hook into, but
Yeah.
then
It was very enjoyable. It really was.
I
The tone,
appreciate it,
the tone
man.
was great. You were fantastic. The movie
Yeah,
was fun.
I thought you did a great
I love
job.
too.
You killed it on the American accent. Couldn't hear the Canadian
at all. Yeah,
you did.
it was wild. And I got to throw. Actually, I want to. Can you? I'm gonna.
Have you
ask you.
ever had a Canadian accent?
Yes, listen to him.
Yeah.
When I first
Now?
met,
You can hear it now?
Well,
I can
he's
hear
done
it.
extensive work, but I can still hear it.
When I first
Major
started,
training.
Wait, seriously?
No,
Wow,
it's not.
lots of face
it's
work?
more just me being like, yeah. It's just all the jaw surgeries that I've had.
These assholes, this is what I deal with. They're bomb throwers. They just throw these little bombs into the conversation. They're the worst. They literally are the worst. And then they do this. And they cackle like coyotes. And then you're just subject to listening to them. Look at this.
Okay,
They
I'm kidding.
love
He knows I'm
themselves.
kidding.
They love the laugh.
No, he knows. He freaking
Do we
knows.
know?
I did have to work on it though. You know this.
Yeah, I
'cause,
know,
like,
yeah.
they would like always
Dude,
on
you
Runaway.
gotta tell your Gerard Butler.
That's why I'm saying. That's why I said this. That's the whole
Please.
point. It's the whole
Please.
point. Of
I
this.
love this
All right,
story.
look, I
It's
don't
a joke I just
there's
made.
Nothing against.
No, he's great. He's great. He's great. He does great movies.
He's incredible.
He's
He's incredible.
Yeah,
It
no,
was was like so kind and nice,
Yeah.
and everyone in that
Yeah.
movie was so kind and nice. But I did a movie a while ago, and Gerard Butler was the star, and like I had a few scenes with him, and it was what an incredible opportunity.
Yeah,
it was
he's
so
cool.
cool. And then also like Willem Dafoe was in that movie.
Amazing.
I was
Oh, no
like,
way.
amazing. It was nuts. Yeah, it was so cool.
Oh my god.
And so yeah, it was this thing where I just had a few scenes, and we're kind of all in this like bullpen, like a sales area, and we're all just hanging out together. And Gerard has a dialect coach to help him with his American accent.
Yeah.
And
He's a very thick accent.
Scottish.
yeah, he does. Yeah, it's
brutal.
very thick, and like
He's playing a Boston cop or something.
no, just an American.
Okay.
Honestly, they were just hoping for any sort of American accent.
Yeah,
Just-
and like, look, I think we all like you can tell sometimes when someone, especially from the UK, I think when they're doing an American accent, like, it's
course you
just
can.
the R's come in really hard.
Yeah.
He also has a weird thing where we'll keep going, but he like struggles sometimes to talk normally. So
He talks to the side.
yeah.
He's got this thing where he talks to the
He's
side.
cool though.
Yeah, it's
tough.
so cool, and again,
Yeah.
like super.
It is.
super
It's
nice.
awesome. It's sick.
But there was just this funny thing happening where and this is always the case. No one knows until you mention I'm from Canada.
For
Then
sure.
all of a sudden they're like, oh, like
Yeah.
I could totally tell, and you're like, no, you couldn't.
No, you
I
couldn't.
just
That's
said
why
it,
I
and
made
then
the
now
friggin'
you're
joke.
And so on set, there was a couple times where like I had already met the dialect coach, and then they suddenly, once they knew I was Canadian, then suddenly the dialect coach would be coming over to me and like,
Oh my gosh.
being like, hey, like, can you, like, you're saying it a little weird, like you have to say, like, can you say it just this way? It's a little-
Cheetos.
yeah, and it just started like helping him. And again,
Cheetos.
coming from a very good place, but then, Gerard's American accent, like, sometimes was
Yeah. Hey, are you gonna say anything to him? Because nobody understood what he just said.
yeah, like that was sometimes-
Get yourself to the back.
I mean, that was-
Oh my God.
that's sort of what was happening.
Who's
and, like,
this pirate?
and I was just like, am I taking crazy pills right now?
We're going to talk like this.
Yeah, he was,
Oh my god.
like very
Dustin,
much.
the Canadians really killing us.
Yeah,
in that.
yeah. Like, they're like, yeah, we gotta do that one more
Me?
time.
Yeah, and let's try this again, Dustin.
Yeah, we gotta do this one more time. Dustin, can you like fix that?
Arr.
You're saying, I think it was the word was like, what is it like? North Carolina, Raleigh,
Raleigh.
whatever it was. I was saying
Raleigh.
it like wrong, wrongly. And
Damn it, Dustin!
yeah.
We get this.
No, it was. They kept on ruining the take, but then the whole time, like, yeah, like
I'm from Boston.
there were other people on set that were, I guess, had a little
Listen
bit more
here, boy,
leeway
sit
with
down.
how they got to pronounce things.
Listen, we got to sit down and talk about a little something. What happened?
Yeah.
I went to Raleigh. Dustin, by God.
Yeah.
This is the 8th take, Dustin. We cannot move on until you get this correct.
Look, honestly, I'm sorry.
You
I
have
lost my
50
place.
people waiting for you, Dustin.
Great
sorry.
job, Gerard.
I
Jerry,
lost
you're
my
doing
place.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Justin.
No, but even at one point he was
Gerard killing it.
at one point he was even like being like commenting on my accent once, and I was just like,
No,
what
you
is
know,
happening?
Dustin. You're really good. You really should drop the Canadian a bit, you know. Oh,
But again,
God,
I cannot
no
say
way,
say
dude.
enough. Like everyone was so kind and nice, and like he was
Oh my
crushing it the whole
God.
time and was
Whoa.
doing a very good job.
Dustin,
Very
boy, that
generous
was
actor.
not. That was
But
bad.
that just was one
That's
thing
really,
in particular. That
really
was
bad.
I love that he was.
Cut.
so funny.
Dustin's
Yeah.
going to need another one. We're going to have to roll this one back.
It was.
Can I ask you a question?
It was wild. It got to the point where it's like I had said again like Raleigh, like the fifth take or whatever it is, and then
Wow.
and to the point where like the director just sort of came out, and it's like you could see that they were just like not happy with it. Like, well, let's move on.
Genius.
Couldn't do it.
We'll have
do it.
somebody
That
else
is one of those-
ADR
yeah.
that line in post.
yeah.
Moving
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Good job, Justin.
I'm sure they did. Yeah, good
It's
job, Justin.
It's Dustin.
I'm sure they just cut it. I don't even remember if that made it.
Dude,
Wow.
that is
That
one
is
of
that's
those
actually really great.
epic, hot, classic
I know.
Hollywood
Honestly,
stories,
that would be,
man.
that
It
would
really
be a
is.
brilliant SNL skit, wouldn't it?
Oh.
Like,
What you would think, but this really
yeah, it
goes
was just
down on
happening
set.
live.
It's
Yeah.
it
wild.
does happen, of
Yeah.
course.
Oh, man.
It's crazy. That's why there's a book like the shit the network says and stuff. It's just sometimes you'll get these things that happen in the television and film industry that just boggle your mind with comedy. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it was wild. And again, it was one of those things where it was just like it was such a I couldn't believe to be surrounded by those people in general, and like in your head you're just like, this is ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
like this is
The whole-
ridiculous,
the
but
whole
also like
thing.
you love it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like you're just like,
Of
yeah,
course.
this
No,
is what
it's great.
yeah.
I noticed that a lot of the British guys, a lot of the UK guys, even a lot of the Australian guys, when they divert to an American accent, it's very New York. Very
Well,
New York.
it's like a stylized thing, right?
It's
There's
all
a
New
couple
York. I mean,
different
even
ways.
Russell Crowe, everything he does is like this.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
when he talks an American accent, everything is this.
You know,
And I think it might make it easier for them because
well, they're a bit closer, Joe, because the West Coast is the most
Geography, Joe. Maybe you've heard of it.
is the most departed
Just kidding.
Yeah.
from the route, which is more.
Well,
of
it
a
is
British.
because New York. If you take the New, and I've done this just for fun, but if you take the New York accent and you start talking like this, right? Everything is like this, and then when you start talking like this, it's
you
actually
realize
very
the
nice.
similarity.
Yeah, like
And
the
when you're
Brooklyn,
in
the
there for
Cockney.
like this,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
actually
yeah,
very,
crossover,
very
yeah,
similar to what they're talking
Yeah,
about.
they are.
Because talking is basically just a
Joe, what
watered
other
down
accents you
version.
got? Keep going, man.
I know.
And you know what?
It's
And,
pretty
You
good.
do little Chris Hemsworth too, you know.
no, that's more.
It's
distinct.
Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, it's
Really?
right, Loki. Yeah, of course.
No,
absolutely.
that's
No,
not
that's absolutely
Australian.
Chris Hemsworth.
No, it's-
Yes, it is. 100%.
no, it's not, mate.
It's
not at all.
First of all, it's not Crocodile Dundee. This is Chris Hemsworth. All right.
I'm not
If you want to be
doing
Paul
Dundee,
Hogan,
mate.
if you want to be Paul Hogan and put it up in the hair, you can do that. Or maybe even like this.
Joe,
You can-
now you've gone into Gollum.
yeah.
It's bad.
It's
That's
not bad. That was
I
brilliant.
don't need to talk to you. I would happily just have
Well.
you guys do an accent off.
I
the
know.
entire-
An accent off.
Great
I know.
line. One of my favorite lines in Hot Frosty
Oh God.
From
Matt,
you
Matt took notes.
was no, I mean I'm just
I got a moment I
recalling
liked, yeah.
watching it. One of my favorite lines was, "Hey, I got to ask you something." So when I was looking through the house for vampires today,
Yeah, I love that. That was great.
got me, dude. Actually, you actually got a genuine
And
laugh.
That's good. Good. Yeah.
I got a
Genuine
genuine
laugh.
laugh when you picked up the snowman picture and compared it to yourself.
That's right. Yeah, there's a
That
lot of
was
sort of
fun.
like happy
Yeah.
accents like that. That was a line that was written, which was I always thought was very funny. That I
Funny.
also like. Even
Your
reading
delivery
it.
was good because you were like you treated it as if
Yeah,
it
you
was,
just got to be like dead
listen,
serious.
I was
Again, 'cause
looking
you're
through
like,
the
he
house.
doesn't know, right? He's
That's
got
the
no
point.
thing, so it's
Yeah.
like you
That's
got to
what-
deliver it
That's what I'm
straight.
saying though. It's
Yeah.
an innocence that
Yeah.
allows you to get away with everything.
But yeah, the like doing the snowman stuff, like there was a lot of there's just a lot of room for play, and like as they were so encouraging for me to just kind of do whatever. So then like that kind of stuff was like, they're like, and maybe you're just over here coloring, and I was like, oh, what can we color? And they handed me like a bunch of like different Christmassy themed things, and I was like, well, I obviously need to do the snowman like the whole time, and then at the end, point
great.
at it like I'm a snowman.
It's great.
It's good. It was good, and you could hear
Laughs for days.
That's good.
But no, yeah,
Fun.
it
It's
was
fun when you're cracking up like the people on set.
yeah.
Great, isn't it?
You know, we actually made a little Christmas movie this year called Merry Christmas, and we had some,
I've seen the ads.
You haven't watched it?
No, I haven't watched
direct
it.
co-
There you
direct
go. You haven't
competition.
watched,
See, that's-
why are you
it's
high-fiving
direct
him?
because it's not a personal insult.
Why are you
We just- it's not like-
high-fiving him for not watching our movie?
Because I'm glad because I didn't watch the movie yet.
Hey! I mean, what do you mean? You didn't watch it either?
Snippy, this is like the real.
There's a
life.
reason. There's a reason Andy and I are on this side of the table.
Yeah. I
Quality friends over here.
One brain.
no, but I watched.
You better
the
watch it at some
last
point.
one. You
I'm
guys
definitely
did,
gonna watch it.
Which this is like a sequel.
Yeah, this
Talking
one's a
to
little
him.
better, I
Oh.
think.
You think so?
I think so.
Yeah, this
Why?
one's better.
The jokes are more genuinely
Right.
We
kind of-
didn't lean so much into the
Hallmark
the box
rom-com-y
and
stuff.
structure of a classic Hallmark rom-com.
Yeah.
We leaned more into a like a National Lampoon's family comedy.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great.
we
We
so
were able-
tonally it strays from that, which I actually appreciate, which I think yours did as well, honestly.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I do think that's like the.
There was a
thing
lot
that-
of love, but
yeah,
it was very fun. It was not
No, there were
Traditional-
genuine like,
Yeah.
it wasn't like set up
Yeah.
Didn't have
moments
those
and
moments
jokes
where you're like I
and
got a
gags
cavity
and-
just watching it.
I
you know?
do think though there's something nice happening in the Christmas movie space, like with streaming and with what's going on TV. Like there's even like on Hallmark, like they're straying.
Yeah,
from
take some chances, for sure.
and it's great. Like there's been a very noticeable shift from again that very kind of formulaic thing that worked for years and years and years.
Yeah,
to
after
now they're, like,
4,000,
embracing-
you
Yeah,
know,
there's a
it's
new
like-
audience
yeah.
and they want exactly that, like
Yeah.
actually to laugh and
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot of magic realism and like
Mhm.
wish and fantasy stuff with it, which I think is great.
Yeah,
I do too.
But yeah, they should be funny. They should be funny
Absolutely.
first and foremost.
They should be.
Absolutely.
100% and
Absolutely.
genuinely funny.
Yeah.
And I
What
feel
do you
like
want to do around the holidays? Laugh.
Yeah.
man.
yeah, man.
I
of
don't want
course.
to. I don't want to cry too much. Maybe a
No,
little bit, but
I
not
don't
too
want
much.
to.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too glum.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't do. I don't love personally those
Plum
movies
or
that
glum?
are just
Glum.
Yeah.
one violin solo to the next. I just feel like it's just so heavy at Christmas. Like like, well, she left at Christmas and I'm never gonna see her. It's like, man, it's a lot of Christmas.
It's a lot. It's too much.
It's like 12 scenes like that in a row, and you're just like, oh my god, I'm so
The
depressed.
saddest Christmas of all time.
Yeah, literally. I mean, literally, that's so many of those kind of movies. Like the saddest Christmas, and then at the end it works out somehow, and you're like, I just feel very sad.
There's one, oh my gosh, there's one viral moment that's going around where the caption reads, boy, Hallmark's really struggling for original content. There's a line, and I think it's delivered by
Oh boy.
Rachel
Lee Cook,
It's yeah.
McAdams.
No, not McAdams. No, it's Lee Cook, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
and she's the line. Oh, I'm gonna butcher it. I wish I could, but
Ooh.
we're gonna have to pull this up, I guess. I can't believe you're gonna go and rescue that giant elephant and save it from something. And she, instead of spending Christmas with me, and it's like wow, it's a real stretch.
You were just gonna leave without saying anything? You're just gonna take off for Thailand, build houses for all of those elephants without even saying goodbye to me after everything that we talked about?
And she's
Oh,
like
that's
crying,
funny.
saying it.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, it was.
She's
She's
great.
She is great.
She's
Oh, no, I'm
great.
not-
Yeah.
no, I'm not saying
No, I know that. No, I know. I think
it's not her fault.
it's a testament to, I think, like what the ask is. Sometimes.
Yes, sometimes
It's
it's
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a lot because it's like
Yeah.
monster.
there is sometimes there's kind of ebbs and flows between like a newer version, a sort of higher bar set for some of them, and then every now and again it dips back to something where you have to cram in a bunch of exposition about an elephant.
Dude, I've been there.
While
I
crying.
have been there
And then
while
and then
crying.
you're also like, how many takes did she have to do? Like,
I know.
Again,
I know.
hats off to I think
No, I
her
totally-
and
anyone that
everybody else who I think who have done it so well for
Yeah.
so long because it's hard.
It's hard.
is really
People don't
hard.
realize it at all.
Yeah.
How hard it is sometimes to actually get across like that, like this expurlative exposition where it's like, that this should be buried in the filmmaking, not in the lines.
Yeah.
But you have to get it out
Yeah.
somehow. That is not easy, man. It's
Yeah.
it's so much easier as an actor to roll up on set with this amazing dialogue, with this amazing director who is going to tell you if it's shit and protect you and get you to a great point, instead of just you're out there on your own with dialogue that's kind of just literally exposition and good luck.
No, yeah, it is. It's something I think about a lot because there's, and you guys know this better than I do, but like there's the sort of reaction of audiences and fans, and how much of that gets put onto the shoulders of the person delivering the line.
Of course.
And it's such a tough thing because you do want to do your best with what you're given, and you do want to always sort of make it believable and good, but like it's not always possible.
Not always quite possible.
And then sometimes people will recognize like, oh, the writing was clunky or something like that, but a lot of times it's just kind of like this.
You were bad.
This sucked. You were
Yeah.
bad.
You were
It's just
bad.
like- It's like I don't
Yeah.
disagree, but
exactly.
but like, come on,
I'm with
guys.
you.
Did you hear the line I had to say? I had to say,
Yeah.
I had to say, I'm sorry, I had to rescue the elephant instead of coming to the airport to pick you up, and I had to cry. I mean, who says that?
I know. You're
Funny
talking
stuff.
about how I tried to go over Everest in swim trunks and flip flops. It's not easy. Let me tell you,
Funny.
not easy.
That's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
that's really funny. What did you have a good winter break?
Didn't do anything. Stayed in Los Angeles,
Okay.
which is always the best move during
Travel seasons.
Yeah, travel
Oh,
seasons.
I
'cause then
hate traveling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Time of
but
year.
also like you never actually rest when you're traveling and visiting a bunch of people. But also like in LA, it's when the traffic dies down.
So
I know.
true.
Everybody leaves.
It's great.
Oh my
This
God,
is
it's
the
so great.
one time
You
of
can
year where
drive
it's
around.
actually great.
I
I
know.
know. I know, man.
Yeah,
I'm
so
with you.
that's gonna be I think the tradition as often as possible.
Great.
Just to stay.
Great.
I love it.
Did you get a PlayStation yet?
I don't have one. We talked about
Got
this.
to get.
No, but I had this thing where it's
We're
like,
doing this gaming thing. Man.
really?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah,
so
dude. Where's
Ma-
our unit?
it's in there. We're gonna set it up down
I
there.
got a brand new
I
one.
go
A
upstairs.
pro, not a
Zach
slim.
Hansen, the drummer for Hansen,
Yes.
is a buddy and
Yeah.
games a lot. So we've been gaming,
We're
bro.
gonna do this.
Cool.
I need
We're
you,
gonna
man.
Really,
Oh,
we're
and
gonna
like doing like a Twitch thing.
Yeah,
bro.
buddy.
I need you, bro.
dude.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, no, it's not. It's more. It's just fun.
This is making me think it's not. You're not
No,
gonna kill
yeah,
him.
I don't-
but-
I don't know what
yeah.
my
Whenever
genuine
you do this, it's over.
Yeah, no, my genuine
This
enthusiasm
right
is
here.
not about the dough. It's about it's so much fun, dude.
Dude, I-
Helldivers is awesome.
KSI.
It doesn't take a lot.
Here's the thing, like
nothing else.
Andy,
Time.
this is big thing. Andy and I,
We have a very strong
game
relationship.
I
so
know.
so
I know.
much, like so much to the point where it's just like, wow, that was a huge waste of time. But it was fun,
Lot
and
of
it was
time
so much fun. But after a while, I just started like, when I started making more music and I started like writing and
doesn't
like
have
just
to be
doing other
that.
things, like where waking up at like 3 a.m. You like
Working out.
there's things that you
and
start
living
doing where you're
life.
just
I
like,
know.
I feel like I'm shifting out of it.
You know
I
what's
am
funny?
too.
You know what's funny? I'm doing the exact opposite.
Yeah, you're shifting in.
I was
Yeah.
my whole life. I was so together. I was up at 3 a.m. working out at a job. Now, fuck it.
I
I'm doing
remember
whatever
because
the
we
hell
used to
I
try
wanna
to
do.
get you to game.
I'm
Yeah,
now
yeah.
playing video games.
Yeah.
I'm staying up till 3 a.m. I'm sleeping all day. It's great.
Well, the other thing too is like as I get
I'm not
older,
saying that's
I
necessary.
can't even.
I'm kidding.
I can't even stay up that late. I get hungover just from staying
all
up.
of
Staying
us.
up, me too.
And
I'm
Zach's
getting
on
to
the
it.
East Coast, so he's a few hours later, so it's perfect.
Yeah.
So like
This
6 p.m.
is a good idea.
It's 6 p.m., 30 minutes, even 45 minutes. It's so fun, dude.
Yeah.
That's it. It's all
And what are
it
you guys
takes.
playing?
Helldivers right now.
Helldivers.
What
Yeah,
is
which is a
Helldivers
big
2?
game, man.
Dude, it
what
is
is Helldivers?
Really, it's like Starship
you don't know
Troopers
what
meets Call of Duty.
Helldivers
Oh, cool.
is?
I don't know.
Big bugs or robots. You can get in like machines or jetpacks, fly around your
Let's do it.
team. You have mission objectives on different planets.
I do think I do
It's
want to
super
try
fun,
to get
dude.
back into it, but I think it's like
The new COD looks sick.
I have
An
this.
hour a day.
You know what it
No,
is?
not
Just
an hour a day, an hour a week.
There's this thing though.
Your
that
wife
where-
will love you for it.
No, and she points this out all the time. Like I have like some, I guess like Virgo energy all of a sudden. I don't know quite what that means, but basically it just means that I'm
Means
like
your birthday's at the end of September.
I'm.
Early
It's
October.
not incorrect.
similar
wow.
to the
wow.
BD
Good
energy?
friends,
September,
buddy.
early October.
Pete Davidson energy?
Late July.
Similar to that?
Virgo's July.
No, but no.
Your birthday's,
it's
your
like
birthday's
your, like,
October.
sun or is in my
Oh, your
sun is in
uprising,
Leo,
or
but
your-
like
your high moon or
your
whatever that
moon
is,
and all
yeah.
that.
Well, you threw me off, pal.
But the point is that I'm like more like suddenly now like lists and like organization and
That's
like
me.
having
Love that.
things together is like
good.
so important to me.
Me too.
And it makes me feel good to the point where if I have things that I know I need to get done,
Oh yeah, lists
then
are
if
crucial.
I'm like if I do then something like playing video games before I get those things done, I'm not really enjoying the video games, and I feel like you know what I mean.
Your mind's on the stuff.
You know
that
what?
gotta work
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
I
I'm with
will-
you, man.
I agree with you until you start playing the video games, and you realize.
No, I
They're
love it.
sick.
I do. And that's the thing. It's like there's so many that like all the God of War and like you
I
know
know,
what
but
mean?
those are. I'm not
I
even
love
saying
those.
that-
I know because those I can't play with you, but like
well, also they take those are the games that you like take a week.
that's what I love.
or
A
two
week
to wrap all the
I'm a
know.
completionist, so
I
I
know,
always try to get
exactly.
100%.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I know. So that, but you don't need to
You
do
play the whole game till you beat it.
every unlockable.
Like every
This is what we used to do.
Go
Fable.
find, yeah.
Do we? I mean,
Fable.
bro,
What a tragedy that game doesn't.
There's a new one coming out,
There is.
bro. There's a new Fable coming out. There's a new Grand Theft Auto.
When was it? Because I remember they
It's been a
announced a new
long-
Fable a long time
It's
ago.
coming out. It's gonna come out.
Yeah.
We'll release.
There's a new Civilization.
bro.
Love
Is it on-
Civilization.
Is it on PlayStation?
I think it's going across all platforms. I mean, it's always on Steam first, and then I think they like.
Do you have any system right now?
No. I mean, I still have my old ones, but
Do you?
I canceled my Microsoft account.
I did too.
What do you mean?
But I have a PS5.
Nobody
I
likes
still
it
have my
anyway.
PS5. still
I
have my
will be
PS5.
getting like when I get a new system, it'll be a PlayStation. But yeah,
They're so sweet, dude.
Yeah.
And the games are awesome.
yeah.
And like I said, Helldivers is kind of like COD, and where you can check in and out, and you don't have to play it for hours and
Yeah,
hours and hours.
yeah.
Although I do like those games too.
I do too. I mean, like
dude,
COD, I was.
Last of Us and
was
Last of
super
Us
good at,
2 are
too.
supposedly like the greatest games of all time.
I mean, I haven't played Last of Us 2.
Me either.
Yeah. I played Last of Us, so it was incredible. But yeah, and like I do like a lot of those kind of not necessarily open world, but like that kind
Yeah.
of thing a lot.
Me too. And it's
Uh,
inspiring for writing. I've played games and been like, shit.
Yeah. No, I always think about that, like,
Yeah.
and then all like
Yeah.
the side quests and the narratives. And stuff.
Yeah,
I
it's
do
like
think
it's
a
inspiring.
Pretty, yeah,
You can use it
it's
as a
super cool.
tool. And there was a point to this which I've lost. Have you seen
Oh.
Mannequin?
Oh God!
There
Oh my
it is.
God!
Oh my
What a
gosh.
film! We can go out
Oh
on
my
that. Just
gosh.
the fourth
Have
time
you
we
seen
mentioned
Mannequin?
Mannequin.
Oh
Thanks so
my
much for tuning in to Brotherly Love Pod. That was a drinking game, and
Well, one of
yeah.
these days, I want to say I really want to. We got to work. I want to work with Deuce.
Yeah, we should
again.
do something.
dude,
Something.
love to.
Wait,
Yeah.
I want to.
Something.
This is when I knew you were going to be a little star.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God.
We were working on a show.
Yeah.
We were writing, developing. That's why I asked you about the writing. So I wanted to make sure you were still doing it because you were always very, very
can
good.
still make
at
this
all,
show.
all the facets.
I love that.
We
show.
can still make
Dude,
this show.
Out of all, well, have you noticed they've been iterations of it on television?
Yeah,
like 3
they've
or 4
tried.
times.
Ours was still
Oh, yeah,
better.
So we
yeah,
were definitely channeling
Our show was
the
so
right idea.
Good. And the funny thing is I'm
But
not,
I knew. Hold
well,
on. Let me
oh, yeah,
finish
and then
it.
I gotta say
I
something.
knew. I was like, okay, this guy's got something here. When you did this one line, it's still stuck into my head. When you were like, and he said my eyes were 2 different sizes, and then the person left, and you turned around like the corner, and you tried to measure your eyes, dude. You had me laughing so hard that I still remember.
I don't even remember that.
I
That's
still
great. Yeah.
remember. It was so funny, dude. You actually
Funny.
tried to measure. You were like, are my eyes really?
Good stuff. It's funny, dude. It's funny.
Made me laugh so hard.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
still
a
remember this
great
day.
show. I think about that all the time. 'cause
Yeah,
I'm just
dude. There
like,
was some
yeah,
great
that
bits
could-
in that show.
That at any point, I mean,
I know.
we won't get into the details of it, but like now more than ever,
It would work.
It would really work.
all the legal ramifications and stuff
Yeah,
from that
yeah,
has
yeah.
come out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not like because when we wrote that that was still
Yeah.
not being really
No,
talked
it's
about.
crazy.
And then on top of it, the second word of that double title actually became
Yes. Yeah.
We like,
know.
and it actually became
No, I'm serious.
a
There's
hip
so much
word.
code
The
here. Everybody
idea
is
was
wondering
A hip
what
word in the
on
vernacular
point.
of
It's
society.
like- Yeah.
Like we made up a word that ended up becoming a word that everybody
I know.
says now.
I
Yeah,
know.
no,
Like,
it's
what
it's
the
it's,
heck?
it's yeah, it's that was a lot of fun, and that was something too that I think really that experience I think I kind of think for all of us in a way like when you kind of take it into your own hands and be like, no,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is funny,
Yeah.
this is making us laugh.
We did that,
yeah.
and it never got
If
made.
we did that now, though,
would work.
because we were really about a
Yeah, yeah,
decade
yeah,
ahead
yeah.
of.
Well, yeah,
when,
nobody was making
That's the problem.
their
We
own
were too
stuff.
far
We were a little
ahead.
ahead.
of everyone.
That's okay, because then they catch up, and then you can kill them with it.
Well, yeah.
Crush it.
Yeah.
But so now it's a different story. Now we actually could we
Dude,
could
we
see
could-
that through to people being able to actually.
We
do it.
actually could just
Yeah.
take that script and go make it.
Yeah.
I honestly have thought about it quite a bit.
That's a good idea.
Because I keep coming back to
It's a great idea.
this thing
Dude.
that I was developing a couple of years ago, like we were at the time, especially then, really trying to navigate like politically
Mhm.
what's politically correct, who are we kind of speaking to, and who are we ostracizing by, and it was just, it got so complicated. But I do think there's something nice about just returning to, and there seems to be a greater audience for it now than there was even a few years ago, of just returning to like what's just funny.
Yeah,
Well,
like,
that's
What just
thank God,
is
because
simply
I
you
just
just wanna-
funny.
I
cannot
just wanna
you
laugh,
cannot
man.
overthink
I know.
comedy.
Yeah, I mean,
know.
don't be
Here it is.
don't be an
No,
asshole.
no,
Don't
no,
offend
comedy,
people.
Right,
but, like,
comedy
yeah.
is slightly offensive at times.
Yeah,
you can't
yeah,
get
yeah.
around that.
Yeah.
And but if you start
Well,
precogging what's going to offend,
Yeah.
I
Comedy
think,
dies.
I think
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
there's a there's a
Like,
there's a difference
totally.
between
And I don't
being
want to bring
mean-
politics
difference
into this,
between
but being
mean and being
Canadian,
funny.
what do you think about Trudeau?
oh my god, oh my god.
No,
I don't want to bring.
Yeah,
oh
but
my
I think
God.
there's a difference.
We won't talk
There's
politics.
a difference
just
when you're offensive and then
Trudeau,
it's
yay,
just mean
nay.
and like classless and kind of low. And then there's some things that can be funny. But
I mean, I'll say this. I do think like it is, when you are like creating comedy for an audience, creating anything for an audience, like you do have to, I think, be respectful
Yeah.
and mindful of your audience. But that being said, I think, there's it's so not difficult to, like, again, not be an asshole, not offend.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
like it's easy to
you laugh just as
you
hard.
you laugh just
Yeah.
as hard.
If
You
not
have to
more.
think about
if
it.
it's smarter. Yeah.
But to also like make sure you're not catering to the point where you're like carving out all the opportunity for real comedy and narrative and that kind of stuff. I
Exactly.
think
No, there's a balance.
fine line. Yeah,
there's
yeah,
a balance.
Yeah,
But there is a massive swath of landscape for comedy in between those two goalposts where you could be really funny. I mean,
Yes,
there's a
yeah.
lot of comedy to mine in there.
Well, I
Yeah,
think
you
here's
just
the
have
thing.
to,
Here's the thing.
you know.
There, we can't deny that there are stereotypes for everybody.
Of course.
Mhm.
And within those stereotypes, there's comedy.
First of all,
to
they've
be
been making
mined.
fun of stereotypes for
That's
years.
not making fun of people. That's the same as like, look, the situation is it's comedy. There's going to be an element. Sometimes it's a roast because of our stereotypes, because that's just a part of our comedy. Every comedian has always done that. But yes, you don't want to insult people.
I also just think for me personally, like my go-tos is like the first person I want to be insulting is myself.
Exactly.
Totally.
The first person I want to be
Self-deprecating.
making fun
Absolutely.
of is myself.
That's so
and
true.
it's like I'm the biggest idiot in the room all the time. And I love that. I love making an ass of myself, and like that's a lot of the stuff that I write if there's a role in it for me. If there happens to be a role in it for me, I'm always trying to
you
like
just take
make-
a character
yeah.
name and cross it out and write
I
Dustin.
love playing like low status and all that kind of stuff because I just think it's so funny. But I do think like again, be mindful of like historically if people have been offended by something that like a path that you're going down, like okay, well, how can I deviate? How can I make this interesting and new? And it sort of an inverse of what was expected and was maybe problematic in the past, and like make it something that isn't so much.
Is your gum on your cup?
yeah, I
Oh
stuck it
my
there.
gosh! All right, it looks like a.
It's
like
that real
like a-
old-fashioned,
like a.
authentic New York City gum.
Oh yeah, there it is, like an elf when he just. peels
Oh
it
yeah,
off
and
the
it just
thing,
there
he
we
eats it.
go. Yeah, we brought it back around.
There it is. Brought it back. And you know what? Don't miss Mannequin. If you have some time over the winter
great
break,
film.
tune in. It's a brilliant film.
Are you reading my mind?
Kim
We
Cattrall.
must be related.
Right? Kim Cattrall
Oh,
and
yeah.
what's his face?
Kim. Can't forget Kim.
Come on, from Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other great movies. I
Yeah.
can't recall his name
McCarthy?
right now. McCarthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Andrew McCarthy.
Yes,
Great
sir.
film.
Yes.
Also,
Yeah.
check out Hot
yes,
Frosty
Hot Frosty
on Netflix.
You killed it. Dustin, thanks so much for coming in today.
Thanks for having me,
Truly,
guys.
man.
Love you, buddy.
We'll do
What
it
a
again,
joy.
and let's get together outside of this and see if we can come up with something cool. Well, I'm going to end the show now. Can I end it now?
Darn it.
Gee whiz.
I'm just
no,
getting
you guys
started.
are. I know.
We're
well,
just walking down
we will
memory
get
lane.
started. Maybe we'll
we
hang
never
out afterwards,
finished
but probably not.
our Montreal story, and then your
Epic.
Shatner story you didn't finish.
Well,
I'm giving the fans what they want.
oh, the Shatner
Shatner
story.
story?
No, the William Shatner about the money, but that was.
Yeah, he.
I kind of finished it.
Okay, he wanted the money. That's
he wanted the
basically-
money. He wanted the money. Anyway, he wouldn't get in the line. He wouldn't go out there until they collected everything. So he.
Oh, really? Like in
He
it?
went
Like,
pre-sales.
So it was so funny.
to
They were like,
he
he
turned
turned
to
this
this-
little,
very
very
nice-
innocent guy who was kind of helping him, his handler, and he was
like a volunteer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
total volunteer.
A young
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
volunteer.
Mr. Shatner, you know, well, we'll end on this. Like, Mr. Shatner, you know, the line's out there, and he said, the line's out there, is it? He said, where's the money? And he's like,
well, they
he's
pay
like,
as they
he
go.
goes,
you know,
they pay as they know. No, you get the money, and then I go out.
And he's like,
And they're like,
sir,
wait,
I
he
don't,
goes-
sir, I don't think that.
He goes, get the money. Get it.
He's like, okay, sir, okay.
Get the money. He had this little bag and put it in the bag.
And the guy's like, oh, okay.
Meanwhile,
Get it.
he also rides. He can
Yes.
walk, but he rides around this
And
little
if you
scooter.
don't get out of the way,
And he
he'll
hits you.
road run you over.
And
I
he
do
gives you
understand the scooter
dirty
thing because
looks.
if he's walking, he's gonna get stopped the whole time. But he's on
Yes.
the scooter,
Yes.
he just scoots
Yes.
it right by.
That's
So
Yeah.
he
great.
just, he was in his chair and he's like, get it, and he's running off.
Yeah, it's
like he's
true.
running out with the
Wow.
bag to go
It's
get
true.
it. It's so funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ah.
I also
He's
love
just
that your
bad.
Shatner is like Trump-esque.
Well, it
You
is
know what I
because
mean?
they're similar.
Similar
Yeah.
vibes, I guess. Yeah, yeah.
Because
very-
when he was doing space and time and this and
Yeah.
that and that, you know, and that could also be a little bit of this.
yeah. See,
What's
there's
that
a- there's a-
speech
It's
that
unbelievable.
Shatner did when the lights go down? What was
Oh.
that?
No.
It's an epic
okay, the last
speech.
thing.
At
he did
Oscars,
it-
at the
well, he did
Oscars.
it. They were
Wow.
honoring Rocket Man.
Oh, that's
nominated
it.
for an
Rocket
Academy
Man.
Award.
Rocket Man.
Yeah,
Rocket
So
Man.
he was gonna come out, but he didn't tell
Rocket
anybody
Man.
that he had a version of
Oh my
the
gosh.
Elton John song. That
It was
was
more
not
like
the song.
it was spoken
'Cause He was
word.
a huge star at the time, and he was like, "I'm going to do something different. I'm not going to sing it." They wanted Shatner to sing, and he was like,
yeah.
"I'm not singing it." So, but he didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
So
That's where that came from.
Yes.
Because I've heard like the album
Yes.
version of it.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So he walks out on stage. He's got a cigarette, and he sits in a chair, and
He
he goes,
just
"Rocket
rocket man.
Man."
Yeah.
And they cut to Elton, and he's like this. He's like,
The whole thing. You can think he's going to break
"I
in.
think things
Yeah.
are going to
Yeah,
be."
at
And
no
not only that, but
point,
then he
yeah.
took the lyrics. He was like, "I think things are going to be all right." It wasn't even like the actual lyric. It was close.
Yeah.
Anyways, brilliant.
Rocket Man.
Anyway, Rocket Man.
Rocket Man. Rocket
Everybody,
Man.
thank you so much for tuning in to Brotherly Love Pod.
Woo!
Thanks to our friend Dustin for stopping by.
Dustin Milligan,
We
everybody.
will see you guys next week right here. God bless. Have a great weekend. Bye, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Hey, what's up, everybody? The
Lawrence brothers are here.
Thank you so much for enjoying this week's episode of the Brotherly Love Pod.
And if you want more of this show, check out our premium feed on Supercast.
That's right, where you'll see ad-free episodes, monthly AMAs, behind-the-scene content, and so much more.
That's brotherlylove.supercast.com to join.
Check out our link tree and subscribe on all platforms.
We'll see you all
Next week!